This episode is brought to you by Progressive.
Are you driving your car or doing the laundry right now? Podcasts go best when they're bundled with another activity, like Progressive home and auto policies. They're best when bundled too.
Having these two policies together makes insurance easier and could help you save. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save over $775 on average.
Quote a home and car bundle today at progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $779 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Welcome to the Intrazone Roadmap Pitstop July 2019 edition. This is a bonus monthly show that answers that burning question in your mind. What is rolling out now for SharePoint and related Microsoft 365 technologies? Well, these roadmap episodes are the answer. This month, I talk with Lauren Khoo, Program Manager on the OneDrive engineering team, who focuses on the OneDrive app for iOS and keeping people productive while on the go. Consider this the message center for everyone, not just for cloud admins. We'll keep everyone informed, current, and ahead of the ever-curving Microsoft 365 roadmap. Like the Apollo program years ago, we've got a lot of features that landed in July. So let us take one small step for SharePoint users, one giant leap for Office 365 user kind. 3, 2, 1, liftoff! Blasters on full escape velocity, out into the roadmap. All right, first stop in the space spectrum of the roadmap is employee engagement. The first thing that I wanted to share with you is all of the new improvements for SharePoint pages and news, specifically when you're authoring. There's a number of improvements to make it easier to create your content, really especially to put content onto the pages and news. The first thing is you can now drag and drop files to the canvas. SharePoint authors will be able to upload images into the canvas using just a drag and drop gesture, and SharePoint will automatically add the file viewer and upload the file to the associated document library, putting it right into your page or news. Then you have the ability for link previews. We've added this ability for rich previews for links when you paste them into the text editor to embed videos from Stream or YouTube or images with the title and description intact based on the information you get from the link. Then to make it a little bit easier for your consumers when they're reading your pages or your news, we are now giving you the ability to have on-page anchors, which means that SharePoint supports the ability to link to the different parts so that people can jump to a specific part into the page or into the news without leaving the page. They're just navigating the page. Specifically, when you're creating news or creating a page, you can now undo or redo. You'll have the option to adjust your changes prior to saving or publishing. And the final one is kind of a big one that we introduced not too long ago at the SharePoint conference, is the concept of having vertical sections, not just horizontal sections. So now if you go create a modern page or a news article, you can create a vertical section, add web parts within that, and really design and create around a really dynamic and visually appealing page or news article. Now, once you have pages and news articles published, from a site perspective, we are now released with the site footer. This gives SharePoint communications sites the ability to have an out-of-box footer control, something that you can control either in the user interface, you go in and input the information, or you can dynamically associate information coming in via API. So if you want to control what appears at the bottom of your site, you now have the option for both a header and now a footer. Last thing in employee engagement is what we're doing around giving you an insight into actually what's happening with your page. We have updated the site usage page, which really helps you roll up a lot of information to give you insights around the different user experiences, how many unique visitors, how many site visits. You'll see charts that represent these. There'll be a new chart titled Popular Platforms, where users can check what platform people are signing in from, things like desktop, mobile web, mobile app, tablet. People will be able to tailor the experience based on the device that people are reviewing it. So if you have better insights into how people are viewing your content, you can design better content. It's real easy. Go to the gear icon on a SharePoint site and click Site Usage and check it out. Together now with everything that we've released for the site usage page, you'll see insights about unique viewers, site visits, site traffic. This gives you kind of the heat map of when most people are viewing your content. Popular platforms, most unique viewers, most viewed, and if you're sharing with external users, you'll see a nice chart report on that. So let's take a little pause, jump out of our rocket, float into free space, and go and chat with the PM, Program Manager, Lauren Khoo, who focuses on OneDrive, specifically the mobile app, and talk about the new redesign for iOS and some of the work that she and the team are doing to bring a great OneDrive experience in your hands on your device. Let's go talk with Lauren. So now it's time to turn to learn a little bit more behind the scenes of one of the specific features that rolled out in July 2019. And we're going to dive into more of the OneDrive mobile app side of things. There's a lot of things that the OneDrive engineering team released in the month of July specific to the OneDrive mobile app. And here to tell us a little bit more about it is Lauren Khoo. Lauren is a PM on the OneDrive engineering team. Lauren, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Interzone. And tell us a little bit about what you do on the OneDrive team and maybe a little bit more about who you are.
Hey, Mark. It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me. As you said, I'm a PM on the OneDrive team. I specifically focus actually on the OneDrive iOS app, both for OneDrive Consumer and OneDrive for Business. I've done that for a little bit, close to about a year and a half now. Before that, I joined the team about a year ago, and I worked on some of our flows around sharing. And prior to that, I was going to school in Houston, Texas. So that's a little bit about me.
So coming into Microsoft, coming into the OneDrive team and taking on sharing, which is one of the most natural things you do with OneDrive and SharePoint, and I also think one of the most critical things that you do throughout Microsoft 365, especially when it comes to files. What was that learning curve like coming into the OneDrive team and then focusing on sharing? What was that like?
It was a really great opportunity for me. I think the folks here that work on the sharing team are really smart and really easy to work with. And so there was so much to learn, I think, about this very core feature of OneDrive. It was great to kind of learn about the space and learn about all the things that different customers need and think of when it comes to sharing, such as what the defaults need to be, what their tenant needs, what their concerns are. And so getting to have an opportunity to interface with real users and real customers and understand where they thought the strengths of the product were, where they wanted to see improvements, and actually get to take that feedback and create product change based off of it was incredible. And so that learning curve at times felt very steep, but it was great, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
Nice. So Texas is in your rearview mirror. Sharing is in your rearview mirror, but certainly not too far behind because you all are working on that consistently. But in the forefront right now is OneDrive Mobile, and you said OneDrive Mobile for iOS. Before we get into the specifics of what's shipping in July, what is your approach and maybe the team's general approach and philosophy in making OneDrive a wonderful mobile experience?
Great question, Mark. I think our general approach and philosophy here is about making an app that users really love to use and choose to use every time that they boot up the app. We really want to make the app great at helping you get back to your files quickly and making the app really familiar and easy to use. So I think as we talk a little bit about some of the upcoming changes that we have, I'll be kind of tying back how each of those changes tie back to this general goal.
Tell us a little bit about what you're bringing in July. You've got a lot of key updates, from a design perspective and working with different file types. Can you share a little bit more about what you've released here in July 2019?
Absolutely. So I think at the forefront, we have done a lot of work to kind of revamp and update the core design of our app. When you'll boot the app in July, you'll be able to see the first thing that you'll probably notice is that we brought these large headers into the app. They should look very familiar for any users who have used Outlook before. That by design is, again, designed to make the app feel a little bit more familiar, make it easier to get started and get going, especially if you've already used another major app from Microsoft. From there, we're bringing search to the very forefront. And so you'll easily be able to search right in that large header for that file that you're looking for and get back to the files that are top of mind for you. We've made a couple other updates just generally around the app, none quite so noticeable as the large header. But you'll see when you tap the ... command, which is the kind of commands that we have for every file. We've updated that component, so that's a little bit easier to use, easier to read. All of the commands show on screen now, so you don't need to scroll to see kind of what's on the bottom half. We've updated really our cell layout in general, bumped font sizes here and there. Again, a lot of small things, all designed to make it easier to see what file you need to work on and take the proper command on that file. We've also updated our recent list. And so what you'll be seeing there is that recent list in the OneDrive mobile apps will now match the recent list that you see in Web or in Outlook or anywhere in Office 365 that you work with your recent list. That was something that we definitely heard loud and clear from customers as something that was a pain point for us. And so we're very excited to fix that. And while we were at it, we also made a change to add PDFs and scans. That was another really core flow that we felt was missing, where we know many users love to use the OneDrive mobile apps to scan and take their physical documents and turn them into electronic documents that they can manage in their OneDrive. So being able to take a scan and then easily see that scan show up at the top of your recent list was key for us to add and bring to customers, because we know that was a super valuable scenario. Similarly, if you are working with PDFs a lot and you view a PDF, we're able to take that signal and make sure that that PDF shows up in your recent as well. And then similarly along the lines, I think there's a pattern here around making PDFs and scans a lot easier for people to use. The last thing that we're bringing there in July is our updated PDF annotation UI, or our PDF markup experience. This was a flow that we felt like we know many users need to use it, and we wanted to make it delightful to use and make it really designed for phones. I think what we had originally, maybe we didn't feel like it really took advantage of being on that small screen and helping users get to the exact actions they needed to take on that PDF, whether it was annotating with pens or highlighters or putting in free text. All of those things we thoughtfully redesigned to make it easier to use and really more tailored for a small screen. And so those are kind of really the core things. We've done a couple other UI things around the app, such as updating our settings to make it even easier and more intuitive to find the precise app setting you're looking for, whether it's managing your notifications or managing how the camera upload feature works for you. All of those things got redesigned as well.
So first, with the PDF annotations, I think there's a lot that you've added in terms of the ability for people to circle things, mark them up, highlight. Like you said, add free text. It's actually, you're adding a full note when somebody will see then a little icon or a little color. When they tap on it, they'll see the full text that you've typed in there. But it's not as if you're inserting text within the PDF. You're actually communicating, collaborating, and sharing information, whether it's visual or text, right?
That's right. We also, so you mentioned the sticky notes feature, which we know is something that users definitely love, to be able to add little sticky notes to their PDFs, just as I think we all used to do on like physical paper. But we also do have the ability for like actually having a text box that doesn't have this exact sticky note UI that you can put anywhere in the document or anywhere in the PDF.
Yeah, that was the part when I saw it. You first demoed it, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. You know, that just makes it feel like a real document. You know, every time with the markup, that's very visual and it's important way to communicate. But you want to put in something that's a little bit more descriptive or just longer form text that's harder to do with your finger. A full sentence or a full paragraph. But I thought that was a really nice add, and I think something that people really like using. So, Lauren, a lot of the updates that your team is delivering this month is focused around design and a lot of great new feature updates. But I think a lot of the great work that you and the team have been doing consistently, not just this month, but always, is really limiting that gap of experience of what you can do from web to mobile, making the mobile app a ton more functional with a lot less gaps or fewer gaps. Can you explain that a little bit on when you think about design, but you actually think about the tasks or the things that people are doing with the app, where you think of things that you've brought to mobile that maybe people weren't aware or didn't know you could do on mobile when they thought maybe they could only do it in the web?
Sure, absolutely. When we think about bringing redesigns or changes to the app, we think a lot about how do we make sure that this task makes sense and is really easy and intuitive and doable when you're on the go and when you're on maybe a device like an iPhone or an Android app that does have a smaller screen. And so making sure that those tasks and flows are designed really well. A good example of this is the sharing experience that we've brought, the exact same one that we have on the OneDrive website, on the OneDrive Sync clients, in File Explorer, and in Mac Finder. You have very similar sharing experiences there. So when we brought the sharing experience that we did several months ago on the OneDrive iOS and Android apps, that experience we made sure to feel very familiar, but at the same time we want it to feel very easy and intuitive to do on the mobile apps and on those smaller screens. And so as we think about all of these the redesign changes, bringing stuff into settings, and really reviving and updating the app, making sure we keep the tasks that we bring to mobile very easy and intuitive to do on a small screen mobile device is definitely at the forefront of our philosophy.
And I would say your philosophy is coming true, because if I think about that specific task, I want to share a document with somebody else. For me, my first reaction would be to open up the OneDrive app to do it, because it's quicker and the actions are just a couple of taps versus opening up my laptop, navigating to the web experience. And I don't mean that as a negative to the web experience. If I'm already there, then of course it's just a click away. But if I, have basically both my devices in a pocket or in my bag, my quicker time to market to share a link to a document, I think, would be the OneDrive mobile app.
Absolutely. That's definitely our goal. I think we totally recognize there are a lot of scenarios and tasks that often need to be done when we're not at our desks. And so making sure that those feel very easy to just take your phone out of your pocket or your bag and get that task done really quickly and easily. Definitely something we strive to do with everything we bring to the mobile apps.
So we've talked about design. We've talked about, obviously, some of the experience holistically that you're bringing from web to mobile or making consistent between the two. Is there anything you can tell us about the future in this space or what you're working on next? Give us a teaser or a hint of what the OneDrive team is doing in the mobile space next.
Yeah. So I think in the line of kind of an all-up refresh and modernization of kind of thinking about all of these core experiences of the app. We are right now, the team is working and considering and planning how we bring similar changes to our Android app. So stay tuned for those. That's really kind of the biggest thing there. Other than that, we're always listening and continue to learn and ask users for feedback and let us know, again, where could we be doing better? What experiences do you love using? And just help us figure out from there what we go off and do next.
So I will make sure, just on that point, to make sure we have a link to the user voice, and certainly always a link to the OneDrive Twitter handle. If people have ideas, feedback, anything, push it to you into the team, and certainly we'll help channel that as well.
Awesome.
For people that want to learn more about you or just things that you put out there, specific to OneDrive, how can people find out more about what you and your team are doing?
Sure. Well, you can definitely follow me on Twitter. It's at Lauren Khoo. And then, of course, our usual kind of at OneDrive Twitter handle, as well as the post that we'll put up on the blog. But I think for things that I personally am putting out there, you can definitely find me on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, and certainly thank you for your focus and attention on making the OneDrive mobile experience excellent. And going from sharing to mobile to whatever you do next, we hope it's wonderful. And again, thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, Mark.
It's always great to hear from the source, and certainly, as you heard what Lauren had to share, the OneDrive team has doubled down on making the mobile experience equal to that of what you could do in the web, but also very specific to the platform and the device that you're on, but also just the awareness that you are on the go. You need to get things done. It needs to be super easy to do with just a tap of your finger or two, and certainly easy to get in, easy to get out. With that, let's move on to teamwork. The first item that I want to cover in teamwork is really about a very specific image type, a 360-degree image, if you bring in a 360-degree photo, will actually enable you not only to just upload it, but to have a great experience for when you're actually reviewing the content, or if you share it with other people, their way to explore and navigate that 360-degree aspect, not just a flat 2-dimension, but they'll be able to pan and zoom and pinch in so that they can see the panoramic manner and nature of the file. And you can do this directly within a SharePoint document library or within your OneDrive. It truly comes alive. It's one of those things when you see somebody else do it, or you do it yourself, you get a really great feel for what the image is, but also just that greater way to share if you want to show things like if you are a realtor, as an example, and you share this image as an external share, the person can actually see the full 360-degree experience that you wanted them to experience. Just a little insight tidbit. As an alternative, users can manually tag their 360-degree photos to end with a .360.jpg or .360.jpeg, and that will force the activation of the 360-degree viewer for those particular photos. It's a really great experience, a really great offering to your end users, your consumers. Now, a big one that is primarily around OneDrive, but very applicable to SharePoint, is the OneDrive Azure Active Directory B2B sync. This preview, in preview now, integrates external sharing in SharePoint and OneDrive with Azure AD B2B. This includes external sharing of files, folders, lists items, document libraries, and sites. With this integration turned on, when a user shares an item in SharePoint or OneDrive with an external user as a guest, that guest account is immediately created for that external user if the didn't exist before. And as a result, any sign-in or conditional access policy in place for your organization will take effect on those external users. This is something that you can opt in for the preview, and if you don't opt in, certainly you won't have it. It won't affect you at all. But absolutely give it a try. Let us know what you think. That OneDrive, Azure AD, B2B sync, it adds a lot of value for if you and your organization are working a lot with external users and how you work with them. The next thing is we've really improved when you think of quick edit on a list. We've termed this in the past the modern quick edit experience. And really what we wanted to highlight this month is we've brought a lot more functionality when you go into quick edit on a modern list. These improvements will allow users to easily edit their metadata by enabling new features within that quick edit mode, such as filtering content, dragging and dropping column widths, showing all view and column formatting, and the improved user choice field type support. So going into quick edit is as equal as it was in the classic experience, now bringing that quick edit improvement experience into the modern experience. Two more in teamwork. The last one's kind of a fun one if you're a workflow-aholic, is the bulk approvals for items that have a workflow that's in process. So if you are the approver of a number of documents or line items that have a workflow associated to them and that workflow task has come your way, you can now go and bulk approve multiple items and get them moving or bulk reject them, whatever that task is. It could be an approve-reject scenario. You can decide to approve or reject the content and, of course, add additional comments. We'll get a little bit of a prompt even across the bulk items. So think of terms of bulk approval as not 3 steps because you have 3 approvals to give. You can now do them all in one swipe, 3 bulk approvals in one. The last thing is around what we're doing for enhancing the preservation hold library. There's really 2 items within this one item. There's now a new 30-day grace period for the release of SharePoint Online holds when you prevent the hold from being immediately released. So during this grace period, any deleted item will continue to be preserved in the preservation library, and items will not be deleted from this location until the hold is removed. So that helps you make sure you don't have any inadvertent data loss. The second feature is preservation hold library items are now moved to the second stage recycle bin before being purged. This allows the admins to recover for a short period of time before the items are actually purged out of the system. So we've reviewed employee engagement. We've reviewed all the things that we've done for teamwork and how you work together. Let's move on to some related items and share what Outlook and OneDrive are doing to further help your productivity. So out here in the vacuum of space, we always want to look beyond SharePoint and OneDrive for those technologies that complement what we can do here to stay connected with our team members and to get a job done no matter what app or what experience we're in. So the first related item that I want to talk about is in Outlook on the web, there is a new cloud document sharing experience. Outlook on the web is updating how you share cloud documents from OneDrive and SharePoint. Now, when you paste a link from a OneDrive or a SharePoint file into a message, it will replace it with the name of the file and the corresponding Office app icon. Similar to what we mentioned earlier around how links are treated in a SharePoint page or a news article, that same functionality comes when you paste it into an email message. This link will then allow you to manage permissions for the file using the new sharing dialog, something we talk about often as being a consistent experience that we bring to a lot of different entry points. So now, when you share a link in a really nice visual way through Outlook, you'll also be able to manage permissions just as you would expect on a SharePoint page, just as you would expect if you were sharing directly from OneDrive or SharePoint. The second related technology is a lot around the new experiences and the update that we're bringing to the OneDrive app for iOS. A lot of what you heard Lauren talk about earlier. I just want to give you the short summary of all of the updates. You have an all-up user interface redesign, a larger header, list changes, Microsoft Search at the top. The recent list now not only is updated to match where you see recent list across Microsoft 365, but also now specifically for the OneDrive mobile app includes PDFs and scans. The update also brought a new annotations experience, and if you have ever done an annotation either on a scan or an existing PDF, I 100% encourage you to try this, especially with the new updated annotations experience. It's a lot more user-friendly, a lot more options, and it really helps convey the message that you want to send within your PDF file. There's also a really nice updated set of settings. You can learn more. We'll have a link in an article that we wrote called Designing a Fluent Microsoft OneDrive Mobile Experience. And there's also a webinar and an Ask Microsoft Everything that we did specifically around redefining mobility with OneDrive. We'll make sure to have all of those links so that you can review it and go a little bit deeper into all of the updates for the OneDrive app. So you've heard about all these things that are coming in July 2019. You may be asking yourself, Mark, what's coming in August 2019? Well, I've got two teasers for you. Teaser number one, save for later. We've already released the ability to save a news article or a page for later. This is now coming to give you the ability to save a document for later. You'll be able to do this from OneDrive and SharePoint, and I'll tell you all about the details in the next Roadmap Pitstop. Teaser number two is something that we're creating called an automated email news digest. You've been able to send a manual email news digest, but now imagine all the news that you put out there that maybe hasn't been read within a certain period of time. We will roll up a summary to people that's very relevant based on unread news articles and send them an automated email news digest so that they can see all the news that's been published around them that they haven't yet engaged on. So that's it with the teasers. We're close to the end of the pit stop. Let's fire the retro rockets and slow down a little bit, return to orbit and put a telescope on the important resources that are always available to you throughout the year. We've added a list of important resources in the show notes based on this month's innovation. These links will assist you in learning more about the Message Center, the Microsoft 365 Public Roadmap, our SharePoint and OneDrive community blogs, and all things Twitter. These are all the places that you need to keep up to speed and stay ahead. This is sort of like calling NASA from far out into space and asking for help. We're always there for you. We hope you've enjoyed this nice, smooth, rocket-fueled ride through the pit stop. Thank you for enduring all the G-forces and the stratosphere re-entry. Thanks for listening to the Interzone Roadmap Pit Stop July 2019 edition. Stay engaged, ask questions, push us to the best information and insights you need. We're here to put our and your best change management foot forward. Stay safe out there in space and on the roadmap. Till next month, thanks for tuning in to this transmission. Roger, over, and out.
What does innovation sound like? It sounds like the luxury of being in the moment with your customer, client, or patient. It sounds like having the right information right when you need it. It sounds like being at your best for your customers and your business, thanks to Hyland's intelligent content solutions that improve digital processes. Innovators everywhere are able to do their thing better, whatever that thing is. Now, who doesn't like the sound of that? Hyland, for innovators everywhere. Visit hyland.com.